Elon Musk just got blindsided. And no, it wasn't by a startup or a flashy new tech company. It was Toyota. Yes, the same Toyota known for hybrids and safe bets just dropped a $13,000 electric SUV. And it's not just affordable, it's packed with features that obliterate the Tesla Model Y. Overnight, the rules of the EV game changed. Dealers are overwhelmed, forums are melting down, and Elon, he's scrambling. This isn't just a price war, it's an industry-shaking power shift. And if you think this ends with one car, buckle up. We're just getting started. The 13,000 earthquake, a car that broke the rules. It wasn't a whisper, it was a bomb. When Toyota unveiled the bZ3X, a fully electric SUV priced at just $13,000, it didn't just turn heads, it spun the entire auto world on its axis. And no, this wasn't a budget hatchback with manual windows. This was a full-size, tech-loaded, family-ready electric vehicle. People didn't ask, is it good? They asked, how is this even real? The bZ3X wasn't some showroom concept or futuristic teaser. It was ready to drive. Massive touchscreen? Check. Premium interior? You bet. Standard safety tech? Absolutely. The price tag hit like a gut punch, especially for companies that spent years selling EVs for 3 or 4 times more. A CNBC headline put it best. Toyota just made every other EV look overpriced overnight. Reactions were instant. Social media lit up. Tesla forums were flooded with buyers second-guessing their Model Y purchases. Dealerships got slammed. We've never seen anything like this, said one Toyota dealer in Texas. It's like people woke up and realized EVs don't have to be expensive. Meanwhile, investors, they hit panic mode. Stocks of competing car brands dipped as analysts raced to make sense of the math. This wasn't about Toyota trying to win more sales. It was about blowing up the idea that electric cars are just for the elite. For years, EVs were framed as tech toys, sleek, expensive, and out of reach for everyday drivers. Toyota just walked in and said, what if we make one so affordable, everyone can own the future? That wasn't just smart business. That was a shockwave. You don't shake up an industry by following the rules. You flip the table. Auto industry analyst Marco Linz, the price alone would have been enough to make headlines. But what Toyota did next is what really shook the industry. They weren't just making cheap cars. They were playing chess while everyone else was still figuring out the rules. And behind that $13,000 tag, a calculated, cold-blooded move straight out of the corporate war playbook. Trojan horse on wheels. Why this move was genius. At first, the price made no sense. How can you sell a full-size electric SUV loaded with premium features for $13,000 and not go bankrupt? Then analysts looked deeper and realized something shocking. Toyota was losing money on every single bZ3X sold. On purpose. This wasn't bad business. It was war strategy. In the boardrooms of Toyota, this decision wasn't a mistake. It was a long-game move most companies don't have the patience or the guts for anymore. Like Amazon selling Kindles at a loss to corner the e-reader market, or Netflix giving away content just to win global subscribers, Toyota was playing offense. And the battlefield? The future of mobility. The bZ3X was a Trojan horse. Hidden inside its bargain price was a perfect storm. Affordability, reliability, and cutting-edge tech. While others were targeting the wealthy, Toyota built a car for the 99%. They weren't just trying to outsell competitors. They were trying to redefine who electric cars are for. And it worked. Buyers didn't just take notice, they jumped ship. One tweet summed it up perfectly. I was saving for a Tesla, now I'm buying a Toyota. And here's where it gets really dangerous for rivals. Toyota can afford the pain. With a global portfolio, decades of production expertise, and billions in reserves, they can bleed money for years if it means cornering the market. Tesla, it's running on thinner margins and fewer product lines. This pricing ambush put Elon Musk in a brutal spot: drop prices and bleed cash, or keep prices high and lose customers. It's a lose-lose. You don't need to make money on every product. So you just need to make history. Former Toyota strategist Keiji Nakamura. Now here's the wildest part. Most people assume that for $30,000, this car had to be basic, maybe a glorified golf cart. But once the full specs hit the internet, jaws dropped. Because the bZ3X didn't feel like a budget car, it felt like a rebellion on wheels. Not a budget car, a luxury sneak attack. When the BZ3X was announced at $13,000, the internet's first reaction was, this thing's gotta be bare bones. Some expected a stripped-down EV with no thrills, cheap plastics, short range, no features. But when the full specs dropped, shock therapy. This wasn't a budget car. It was a head-on challenge to luxury EVs, and it was winning. Inside the BZ3X, you get a 14.6-inch touchscreen. That's bigger than what you'll find in many 50K cars. An 11-speaker premium sound system. A digital driver display. Adaptive cruise control. Automated emergency braking. Blind spot monitoring. And here's the kicker. All standard, no upgrade packages, no sneaky fees. Toyota gave people a luxury experience for the price of a used hatchback. So how did they pull it off? First, Toyota partnered with China's GAC, tapping into one of the most cost-efficient manufacturing pipelines on Earth. No need to build from scratch. Second, they switched to lithium iron phosphate, LFP batteries, cheaper, safer, and less reliant on rare earth metals. That change alone shaved off thousands in production costs. Third, they used their unmatched scale, decades of refined manufacturing systems, to squeeze every cent of waste out of the process. Instead of putting money into things consumers didn't care about, Toyota focused on what matters: comfort, safety, and reliability. That's what flipped the script. Suddenly, people weren't just comparing the BZ3X to other cheap EVs. They were comparing it to Model Ys, Mach-Es, and even high-end hybrids. And more than a few were walking away thinking, why pay more for less? It's not a budget car, it's a budget destroyer. EV blogger Samir Dewan. The day Elon lost pricing power, for years Tesla owned the EV conversation. If you wanted range, speed, and tech, you went Tesla. Elon Musk turned cars into gadgets, and buyers lined up to pay top dollar. But when Toyota dropped the BZ3X at $13,000, that entire pricing model started to crack. Tesla didn't just lose a price war, it lost its aura of untouchability. Before, Tesla could justify its prices with innovation and style. But now, the BZ3X offered similar range, slick design, and premium features for less than one-third the cost of a Model Y. That made buyers think twice. A wave of regret swept through Tesla forums. I paid $52K for this? Dealers reported cancellations. Analysts called it pricing panic. The real danger wasn't just competition, it was what the BZ3X exposed. Tesla's margins, once celebrated, became a burden. Slashing prices would destroy those profits. Keeping prices high would scare off cost-conscious buyers. Toyota had boxed Elon in. And since Tesla doesn't have other profitable divisions to absorb those losses, the trap was tighter. Even worse, Tesla's factory model isn't built for fast pivots. Their production lines are optimized for a narrow range of premium vehicles. So while Toyota could launch a 13K SUV without collapsing its empire, Tesla had no such flexibility. The BZ3X didn't just compete, it cornered Tesla and made the entire Model Y pricing strategy look outdated. The day Toyota launched the BZ3X was the day Tesla stopped being the future and started being the past. Industry insider, Dana Rios. And that leads us to the engine room of this whole mess, Tesla's factory system. The same setup that once gave them an edge has now become the very thing holding them back. Because while Toyota can pivot, outsource, and partner, Tesla is locked into a vertical model that's starting to look very, very heavy. Tesla's factory model becomes a liability. Once upon a time, Tesla's factories were the envy of the industry. Massive, automated, sleek. Every part, from batteries to dashboards, was built in-house. It was called vertical integration, and it worked when profit margins were fat. But now, in a $13,000 EV world, that very system is becoming a chain around Tesla's neck. Every Tesla assembly line is designed to build premium models. They aren't modular. They aren't flexible. So when the market suddenly shifts toward affordable EVs, Tesla can't just flip a switch. Rebuilding those factories would cost billions, and time is not on Elon's side. Meanwhile, Toyota is partnering with China's GAC, outsourcing production, and scaling globally at lightning speed. Here's the brutal math. Tesla pays top dollar for each step of production: raw materials, labor, design, software, assembly. Every part comes from its own house. That means Tesla carries 100% of the cost. Toyota? It shares that burden with partners across continents, slashing production costs and speeding up time to market. In today's EV race, flexibility beats control. Even worse, Tesla's factory model only works when cars sell at premium prices. The moment they try to go budget, their margins collapse instantly. Toyota, on the other hand, spreads out losses across dozens of models and markets. They can absorb short-term pain. Tesla, one wrong pricing move and it's a full-on earnings disaster. In war, size is strength, but flexibility is survival. Auto production strategist Li Han. And if you thought Tesla could fall back on its charging empire as a safety net, think again. Because even that advantage is slipping away fast. What used to be their secret weapon, the supercharger network, is turning into just another plug on the map. Supercharger monopoly meltdown. There was a time when Tesla's supercharger network was a reason to buy the car. Fast charging everywhere. Road trips without range anxiety. For a while, it was Tesla's unbeatable advantage. A moat no other EV company could cross. But that's no longer true. And Toyota's move just made that erosion impossible to ignore. Governments across Europe and North America are pushing for universal charging standards. What does that mean? Every EV, regardless of brand, will soon be able to use every major fast charging station. No more exclusivity. Tesla's once private highway system? It's opening up. And when everyone has access, it's no longer a reason to buy Tesla. It's just infrastructure. Toyota didn't bother building its own network. Instead, they partnered with existing ones. In China, where charging infrastructure is exploding, they're tapping into rapid growth without lifting a finger. In North America, they're aligning with open standards and letting the networks compete. No costs, no maintenance, full access. The supercharger network is still reliable, for now. But it's no longer the only option. And while Tesla spends billions to maintain it, competitors are scaling fast and cheap. What used to be a game-changing advantage has become a burden, especially when buyers realize they can now charge a 13K BZ3X just as easily as a 50K Tesla. When your secret weapon becomes everyone's weapon, it's no longer a secret. It's just overhead. Tech analyst Rachel Kim. So if Tesla can't win on price, production, or infrastructure, what's left? Maybe customer experience? Not quite. Because while Elon went all in on online-only sales, Toyota was quietly building one of the most powerful tools in the industry, a global dealership network that's now turning the tables. Showroom versus software. The dealership. Fight back. For years, Tesla's no dealership model was called the future. No pushy salesmen, no markups, no waiting rooms. Just order online and boom, the car shows up at your door. It felt sleek, digital, and different. But now, with millions of EVs hitting the road, that model is starting to feel isolated. Most car buyers still want a real-world experience. They want to sit in the car, ask questions, talk to someone, and when things go wrong, like a faulty touchscreen or a software glitch, they want to drive to a local service center and get it fixed. Tesla can't offer that experience in most places. Toyota can everywhere. Toyota has a massive dealership network, not just in big cities, but in small towns, suburbs, rural highways. That means fast repairs, warranty support, regular maintenance, and maybe most importantly, peace of mind. For first-time EV buyers, especially in emerging markets or older demographics, this kind of support builds trust. Meanwhile, Tesla owners are sometimes left waiting weeks for basic service. In many areas, there's no nearby service center at all. And in countries like India or Brazil, where direct-to-consumer sales are often banned, Tesla can't even legally sell without a dealership partner. Toyota's already there, ready to go, building relationships on the ground. It's not flashy, but it's real power. You don't build a car brand with software alone. You build it with trust, and trust needs a place people can walk into. Auto retail consultant, Marcus Zhao. Now imagine trying to survive all of this while three of the world's largest automakers are coming at you from different directions. Tesla's not facing a rival. It's caught in a global squeeze, and every side of the map is pushing in. Triple threat, Tesla's enemies are closing in. Tesla used to be the disruptor, the one making old giants nervous, but things have changed fast. Today, three industry titans are circling Tesla like sharks. Each one brings a different weapon, and together they're forcing Elon into a corner. Welcome to the three-front war. First, there's BYD in China. Backed by the Chinese government, BYD dominates the domestic EV market. They've mastered battery production, driven costs way down, and already overtaken Tesla in global EV sales. BYD's cars are affordable, reliable, and everywhere, especially in Southeast Asia and Latin America. And now they're coming for Europe and beyond. Next is Volkswagen. The German heavyweight may have been slow to start, but they're catching up fast. They've committed billions to EV production, leveraging their legacy factories, dealer networks, and loyal customer base. Volkswagen doesn't have to build a brand from scratch. It's already trusted across Europe and North America. Then you have Toyota, the dark horse turned power player. With the 13K BZ3X, they're leading the affordability charge. Toyota's weapon isn't just low prices. It's a combo of scale, reliability, and strategic partnerships. While Tesla was looking at Mars, Toyota was building for Main Street Earth. Each of these rivals has strengths Tesla can't easily match. BYD wins on battery cost and domestic dominance. Volkswagen wins on brand legacy and infrastructure. Toyota wins on price, manufacturing scale, and global reach. Elon isn't fighting one competitor. He's fighting a coordinated shift in global EV leadership. Tesla is no longer the disruptor. It's the one being disrupted from every side of the planet. Market analyst Olivia Chen. And just when you thought things couldn't get worse for gas cars, Toyota's BZ3X didn't just shake Tesla, it put a stake through the heart of combustion engines. The price of gas cars, no longer a selling point. That old money-saving argument? Gone. Gasoline just got outpriced. For decades, gasoline cars had one big edge. They were cheaper. You paid less up front, even if fuel and maintenance costs added up later. But now, that math doesn't work anymore. Toyota's 13K EV is cheaper to buy, cheaper to drive, and cheaper to maintain. For gas cars, it's game over. Think about it. When an electric SUV costs less than a compact gas car, why would anyone choose combustion? With EVs, there are no oil changes, fewer parts to break, brakes that last longer thanks to regenerative tech. Electricity is cheaper than gas per mile, and charging at home is even better. That upfront price advantage gas cars had, it's gone. Toyota didn't just challenge Tesla. They torched the last excuse people had for avoiding EVs. Suddenly, the argument isn't about being green or trendy, it's just basic dollars and cents. Consumers are waking up. Why pay more for a vehicle that costs more to run and is now dropping in resale value? This shift isn't just happening with individuals. Businesses are noticing too. Fleets, logistics companies, rideshare platforms, they all live by cost per mile calculations. The math is clear. EVs like the BZ3X save money. That's changing buying behavior overnight. And every gas vehicle sold now comes with a question. How long Fleet managers are placing orders in blocks, replacing older gas models overnight. With a global dealership network ready to service and support them, Toyota offers what Tesla doesn't: trust at scale. Once fleets adopt EVs en masse, something else happens: a domino effect. More EVs on the road means greater demand for public charging, which encourages cities and companies to install more stations. That speeds up the EV transition for everyone, even personal buyers. Toyota just lit the fuse, and now the whole industry is racing to catch up. Fleet managers aren't waiting for the future. They're ordering it in bulk. EV Fleet strategist Carla Mendez. And when fleet orders explode, it doesn't just shift business behavior, it changes government policy too. Because what happens when EVs no longer need help to be affordable? Easy, the entire incentive system breaks down. The EV incentive backfire. Governments must rethink everything. For over a decade, governments around the world have tried to push people toward electric vehicles using tax breaks, purchase incentives, and rebate programs. It made sense. EVs were expensive and the help was needed. But now, Toyota broke that logic with a single move. A $13,000 electric SUV needs no handout. It's already a bargain. This has thrown policymakers into a full-blown identity crisis. If EVs are now cheaper than gas cars, if they're winning on price alone, do we still need to spend billions in incentives? The answer is shifting, and fast. Countries are starting to redirect those resources away from price cuts and towards something far more critical: infrastructure. With demand exploding, the new bottleneck isn't affordability. It's access to charging. In cities, on highways, in rural towns, there simply aren't enough reliable, fast-charging stations to handle the coming flood. And grids? Many weren't built for millions of EVs charging every night. That's why governments are now racing to invest in grid upgrades, charging hubs, and renewable power. There's another angle too, one of national survival. The US, Germany, France, India, and others are realizing that this EV shift is now a global economic race. It's not just about cleaner air. It's about keeping domestic automakers alive in a world where Japan and China are teaming up to crush costs. Toyota's move made one thing clear: if you don't compete, you fall behind. So what happens next? Expect to see less talk about $7,500 rebates and more focus on high-speed chargers, EV manufacturing hubs, and energy security. Because in the world Toyota just created, the price war is over, and the infrastructure war has just begun. Incentives didn't fail, they succeeded, and now we need a new plan. Energy Policy Advisor Jamal Okoro. And while governments and fleets adapt, regular drivers are waking up to something bigger. Owning a gas car isn't just outdated, it's turning into a bad investment. Because when EVs like the bZ3X go mainstream, guess what happens to your gas-powered trade-in? Used gas cars are the new flip phones. There was a time when gas-powered cars held their value. You could buy one, drive it for a few years, and resell it at a decent price. Not anymore. As EVs like the bZ3X hit the streets, the resale market for combustion cars is crashing hard, and it's only getting worse. Here's the reality. Why would anyone buy a used gas car when a brand new electric SUV costs $13,000 and runs for pennies per mile? The economics have flipped. Buyers now see gas vehicles the way we saw DVD players in 2010. They work, sure, but they're clearly part of the past. Their value is dropping with every passing quarter. Dealers are already seeing it. Trade-in values for gas cars are down. Inventory is piling up. And for the first time in history, electric cars are holding value better than gas cars. That's a massive reversal because EVs are now the smart buy, cheaper to own, cheaper to run, and longer lasting due to fewer moving parts. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about individual buyers. It affects entire markets. Banks are adjusting loan rates. Insurance companies are changing risk models. Even automakers are offering weaker buyback options on combustion models. Owning a gas car in 2025 feels a lot like owning a flip phone in the age of smartphones. Functional but falling behind fast. It's not just about performance anymore. EVs are winning on value, and value drives everything. Auto resale expert Kira Shah. And all this leads to one final looming question. With price, production, service, and resale all shifting against Tesla, is there any way out? Can Elon adapt fast enough, or has the clock already run out? Elon's biggest test. Can Tesla survive this shock? Let's be clear, Tesla is still a giant. It has innovation, brand loyalty, and global reach. But for the first time, it's on the defensive. And now, with the BZ3X setting a new standard, Tesla's margin for error has vanished. The next 6 months may determine if it remains a leader or becomes a legacy. Elon Musk faces 3 brutal choices, and none are easy. First, cut prices to compete, but that would crush profit margins and damage Tesla's expansion plans. Second, develop a budget model fast, but that means rebuilding factory infrastructure, which takes years and billions. Third, stay premium, but then they risk becoming a niche brand in a world-going mass market. Internally, there's tension. Some want Tesla to stay exclusive. Others say it's time to widen the base. Investors are nervous, analysts are watching, and the market? It's shifting faster than Tesla can respond. What once felt like a safe lead now feels like a race against time. And while Tesla scrambles to react, its competitors are scaling. Toyota's factory partners are producing thousands of BZ3Xs monthly. Volkswagen is converting plants across Europe. BYD is locking down Asia. Tesla, once the disruptor, now feels like the one being disrupted. The public's expectations have changed. A $50,000 EV doesn't impress anymore. Not when a $13K Toyota delivers 90% of the experience. Tesla can no longer define the market. Now it must chase it. And that's Elon's real challenge. Not just surviving the competition, but surviving the shift. Tesla's not just fighting Toyota. It's fighting time, scale, and its own past decisions. Auto industry analyst Lillian Grant. So here we are. The world's most reliable car maker just flipped the EV industry on its head. With one move, Toyota made electric vehicles affordable, desirable, and mainstream. And now Tesla is on the back foot for the first time in a decade. Elon Musk is facing his toughest test yet. Can Tesla adapt, or has the age of Tesla dominance come to an end? What happens next will define the future of driving for a generation. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and make sure you subscribe because this story is far from over.